Hello everyone. In this video, we'll cover a few more components, but before we do that, I'll give you guys a quick recap on where we left. In the previous video, this is how the code was looking like. We added view component, text, button, style sheet, and so on, and this is how the output was looking like. We added the background color, we increased the font, and it looks more appealing now. So, what we'll be working on today would be these other components. So the recap is done. Now let's start with text input. Now, whenever you're working on a website or you suppose visit a website, you can see the text box over there, correct? You type your input inside the box. So now we'll make something similar to that. For that, I want you to remove this line. Let's just edit the existing code so that we can implement the text input component. So your name. In this case, I'll remove the styling as well because we'll be adding our own style and not use the previous one. So just remove this entire style sheet component itself because you won't be needing it. But now we will be implementing the text input component, correct? So let's import that in the first line and then come back to the code. I just typed enter your name inside the text component. In the next line, type text input and close the angular bracket. The closing tag is now automatically generated. Now, what I want you to do is go inside the opening tag and give some space. Now you can type something called a placeholder. Now, remember whenever you are visiting a website, inside the text box, you see a light colored text. It usually tells you what needs to be typed inside the box, correct? So here, since I'm asking the user to enter your name, I'll write type your name here. So this will act as that text inside the text box. Okay. So now at this point, we can simply save this and go back to the output and enter your name is over here. And like you can see, the text box is there. Now I can simply type hello and click on enter. Like you can see, nothing is happening, but the text input box is working perfectly. So the component is now implemented. All right, you can type your own name or anything. This functionality is working perfectly. But don't you think it's very simple? Now, suppose I want to display the output below the box. Okay, since I'm typing Deepika over here, I want the output to be displayed below the box so that there is clarity. So let's go back to the code and now we'll use something called a use state. Use state is a hook that will allow us to make such changes in our code. Don't worry, guys, just stay with me. Now we will import use state in the second line. Use state. Make sure that you're giving the right capital letters wherever it's needed. And use state is available in React package. So let's import that after the React Native Components import statement. You have written that. And now we wrote const index, correct? Now, before the return statement is used, this particular function is used, we will give some space and type const within square brackets, we'll write text because here in the output, we are giving text, right? What I want is to store it somewhere. So for that, I'll write text, comma, space, set text. Now you can give anything in this. Suppose I write value, comma, set value. Okay, anything can be written here, but in this case, I'll write text, comma, and space, set text. Come out of the square bracket, give an equal to sign. What we'll do is call the use state hook. Okay, now let's give single inverted commas and close this with a semicolon. Now, what's happening here? We have created an array. Since we'll be giving an array of strings, that is a set of letters over here, what we'll do is write this inside an array and write text. You can give anything in this place, but for clarity, since I'll be giving text value inside the text box, I'll write text and then set text equal to use state, because that is what we imported from the React package. And then you'll call the use state hook along with the inverted commas. Now remember guys, this is syntax, and once you start practicing with these hooks, you'll get the hang of it. So now we've created the hook. What you need to do is go inside the text input opening tag and click enter. A new line will come up, and now you can type on change text. This will automatically generate the two curly braces, and in case it does not, you can write this manually. And within that, you can give a set of parentheses along with something called new text. Okay, now come out of the parenthesis, give an equal to symbol along with a closed angular bracket, and write set text inside the parenthesis new text. This is done. Now go to the next line and type value. Since we don't need the inverted commas and just need to write the text, we'll write text inside the curly braces. Remember, we wrote text over here so that all the text that we give inside the text box will be stored inside this. So text is given. And now you can go to the next line and give any style that you want. In this case, I'll be giving a simple border color as for say gray, and then some border width so that we know which box we're working with. In this case, I'll give 1 px, 1 pixel. All right, all of this is done. Now remember, in the output, I said that whatever I type inside the box needs to be displayed as it is. Now to enable that functionality, I'll have to give another text component, correct? Here we use the text component to display this sentence. Later, to display the text that I'm gonna write, it also needs to be enclosed inside a text component. That is why after the text inputs closing tag, I'll give another line and type text. Remember guys, we just need to import the component once and use it as many times as we want. So you don't have to write text again since it's already imported because we used it here. That is covered. Now you can type you typed. Since I wanted to display this text below the box, I'll simply type you typed, and inside curly braces, I'll pass this particular text. All right, now let's save this and come back to the output. You can see it's asking for a text input. And as I type this, the text is being displayed simultaneously. You can simply delete it and write any other text that you want. And as I type it inside the text input box, it's being displayed below that. So this is what we this is what we were trying to achieve through this text. What we did is we created a hook. All right. We made a variable called text, and we'll be saving all the output that this box will receive inside of that particular variable. And after that, we'll use the hook, that is the use state hook. And then the text input component was called over here. And we gave a simple placeholder, which is when you remove the text, you can see, type your name here. And when you start typing the text, the placeholder's value will be replaced with your text, correct? And then in the next line, within the same opening tag, we gave on change text. And this is the syntax that we use to write the new text. See here, we passed new text. So whatever was replaced by the placeholder, this is the new text. Am I right? That is what we tried to pass inside the set text value. I know this might seem very confusing, but once you start practicing with this, you'll get the hang of it. And then the value, that is text, will be stored inside this variable. And then you close the text input component, and then type the simple text component, that is this. And then when you write text inside curly braces, it will be displayed on the screen. That is your output, that is the hello text. So with that, we cover the first component, that is text input. All right, so let's move on to the next component, that is safe area view. And now you can go back to your code and you can remove all of this because you won't be needing it. Okay, you can remove this, you can remove this as well. Second import statement, the text input box, as well as the second text component. Now you can simply give hello world because this is very basic. And then in the import statement, the new component that we'll be learning now is safe area view. Now, what this does is whenever you're working on your application, you have the notch, that is the camera on your mobile screen. Am I right? And then on the bottom part, you have a little space. So whenever you're making an application, those particular parts need to be avoided so that the output does not go behind that. So to make sure that this functionality works properly, we include something called safe area view in our code. Now, the entire code, whatever we type, needs to be enclosed with this. So you can simply give another line over here and write safe area view and close this. Now you can copy the closing tag, Control C to copy it, remove it from here and paste it after your code ends. As simple as that. Now simply save this and go back to the code. You can see on the web application there is no such change. When you scan the QR, that is in the terminal, you find this QR, correct? When you scan this and view the output on the mobile screen, you can see that there is a little space on top. That is because now we will be working in the safe area context. That is, in this particular region, the output will be displayed properly and the top notch as well as the bottom space will be avoided so that the output will be displayed within the safe area and within our reach. So that is it. That is what safe area view means. And then let's move on to our next component, that is image background. Now in the previous video we already discussed how to import an image, but we did that through our folder. Remember, we wrote something called require, and within that we gave two inverted commas, and this is how we did. We imported the image from assets folder itself. So we clicked on assets and gave another slash and imported it directly using this particular sentence. But in this case, we'll be importing the image from the internet. So let me show you how it's done. Let's get this out of the way and remove safe area view from the import statement. Here you can type image background because that is the component we'll be working on. Let's remove this as well as this. And let's give another statement, that is December of 2025. All right, let's save this for now. Now I want you guys to go to another window and look for images. Yes. Now suppose this particular image. What you need to do is right click on the image and click on open image in new tab. Once you do that, this will be opened in another tab, and copy this link in the URL. Click on that and Control C to copy. All right. Now, what we did is copy this from here. Let's do that again. Control A to select the text, Control C to copy, and you can go back to the code. Now you can simply write the text, that is the image background component over here, and close the angular bracket. The closing tag will be automatically generated. Now what I want you to do is copy the closing tag and paste it below the text because we want the image background component to enclose the text component. All right. Now go inside the opening tag of image background and type source equal to a set of curly braces. Now within that, you need to type something called URI. Now URI stands for Uniform Resource Identifier. Since we are importing the image from the internet, this is the syntax that you usually use before giving the link. Now give a colon and a set of double inverted commas, and within that you can paste. Oh, we copied the wrong thing. Let's go back to the image, copy this entire link and paste it over here. The URL is now pasted. Don't get overwhelmed by the length of the URL. Now you can simply go to the next line and type the styling. For that, you'll give, we can usually give that outside the curly braces. And now you can give width like we usually do and the height as well. All right, now you can save this and go back to the page. You can see the image and text is being displayed, but it's very small. So let's correct that. The problem usually is the view component. So let's add the styling to the view component as well. Let's give it 100% width so that it covers the entire screen. 100% height. Let's save the file again and go back to the page. You can see the image is now being covered on the entire screen as well as the text is being displayed on top of that. Let's make some more changes so that the output looks appealing. Inside the text component, let's add styling. Now this can be anything. In my case, I'll be adding some color that is white. I'll increase the font size to 30 and I'll align the text in the center. All right. Now let's save this again. Now you can see the output is now a little more appealing. You can see the font color is now changed and the text is now being displayed in the center of the screen. So that is it about the image background component. All right, so the next on the list is model. So let's cover that now. Go back to the code and remove all the component and its styles. We won't be needing it now. And now let's import the next component that we'll be covering, that is model. So for this, see, model usually refers to a notification. All right, when you click on a button, something pops up. So let me just do it practically so that you guys get an idea about what I'm talking about. So in this case, let's just add a button. We already learned how to add the button component. So simply add that. And here, let's type button and the closing tag will be automatically generated. Now what we want is when we click the button, the model functionality happens. So let's give a little space in the opening tag of button component and now type title. All right, now let's say click me. Okay, now this is a simple button. And now what I want to do is go out of the button tag because this is a simple button. And now you can open the model component. And here, when you close it, the closing tag will be generated. And now the basic things, whatever we need, are now being set up. So after that, you can simply add another view component. All right, inside of that, you can give a text that would say, this is a model. Come out of the text component and give a button to close it. Close and the model closing tag would be used. after the button is closed. So the closing tag is now placed over here, and the view would be on top of that. All right, all the redness is gone. This would be our basic foundational code. But remember, we were working with the hooks, the use state hooks. So we'll be implementing a similar functionality in this particular code as well. So for that, you'll be importing use state from React package. So let's do that again. Use state from React. And after the index constant has been created, we will give something as const within square brackets. Let's write model visible. And next, write something as set model visible. All right, now you can give a set of equal to, and then use state hook would be called, and inside the parenthesis, write false and close this with a semicolon. All of this needs to be written before the return function is called. Now then you gave a view component, and inside of that you gave a button, so that when you click the button, the functionality happens. So then you opened the models opening tag, and inside of that the view component has text and button. So let's write all the functionality behind the hook inside of these tags. All right. Now the button would have an on press function. So whenever you press on the button, the functionality would occur. So inside the curly braces, you can give a set of parentheses along with the arrow, that is an equal to with a closed angular bracket. And inside that you can write set model visible along with the true value. Since here the initial value was false, here we would be passing a true value. And inside that we have the closing tag over here. And then you can go to the models opening tag, give a little space and type visible, that is an attribute, visible, model visible, since that was the first variable that we passed. All right. Now you can give an animation type as well. Don't worry, all of this will be clear once you see the output. All right. Animation, we have a lot of suggestions over here. Let's see that we have fade, none, and slide. Let's say we go with slide. All right. Now we covered the model component as well. Now we have another view component inside of which we have a text, correct? And then we have a button with title as close. Now let's write the onPress function over here as well. Let's give a set of parentheses with an arrow. Arrow refers to an equal to symbol with a closed angular bracket. And after that, you'll be writing set model visible again with false value within the set of parentheses. All right. Now all of this is covered. Now let's save this and go back to the output. You can see click me button is now being displayed. We wrote the click me button over here, and in the output it's being displayed like this. And when I click on it, the sentence, this is a model wala sentence that was over here, is being displayed, correct? And then the close button, like we wrote here, is being displayed. And when you click on that, the model is going away. And all of this is happening in a slide animation, right? You can see it slide into the display and then slide out of it. So this is what we were implying to do. First, we created a model visible and then a set model visible along with the use state. And we passed the false value because we did not want that to be displayed in the beginning itself. We wanted that to happen when we click on the button. So when I clicked on it, the model is now slided into the screen, and then when we click on close button, it goes away. So this is how the model component usually works, and let's get that out of the way as well. And now we'll be discussing about the pressable component. All right, so the pressable component would look something like, let's remove all of this first. Let's just say pressable in the import statement, and then you can remove the use state because we won't be needing it here. All of this out of the way, and let's keep a simple view component. This is there. Now let's write pressable that we just imported. And inside that, inside the opening tag, give a little space. For clarity, I'll just write it in another sentence. And let's give the on press attribute over here. All right, a set of curly braces is already been generated. So now you can give a set of parentheses along with an arrow. An arrow is equal to with a closed angular bracket. And here you can write something called alert. Now I'll tell you what this is after it is displayed. You can write whatever text that you want to be displayed on the alert box. In this case, I'll write pressed, that is the component has been pressed, and that is it. And then what you can do is write a simple text inside the component. All right, you can write the text component over here and give whatever text that you wanted to pass. That is, in this case, it would be press me. Let's give a little styling to this so that it is big and clear enough. Let's give the background color as red, the font size as suppose 30. And okay, I don't think we'll need anything else. So let's save this and try looking at the output. So you can see background color is there. We can see the text being displayed over here. Let's click on this. And you can see there's a pop-up over here. This is called an alert box. It says that it has been pressed because that is the text that we passed over here. Let's try changing this. This is a pressable component. Right, let's save this and try looking at the output again. Need to reload the page. This is a pressable component. All right, this is basically how this component works. So that is it for this video. We have covered 5 components along with a quick recap of what we discussed in the previous video.